Hello everyone. Sawadee Namaskar.
Hi everybody.
Welcome you all to this trade exhibition conversation. Today we are going to have a discussion on the good practice of exhibitors in trade exhibition. And today my name is Peram and I'm with Kenneth. We are in both of us in exhibition industry. Myself, let me give you some intro to myself first. My name is Peram Prashadara. I'm owner and founder of the Technobase. We are specialized in the polymer industries and also the energy environment technologies. One of the areas that my business in organizing exhibition. I have started exhibitions organized exhibitions for last 10 years. And also I have exhibited many shows as well outside my shows. Okay, and also I have visited many trade shows for last. I cannot count how many trade shows I visited, but I have so many shows I visited. I always thought that having a good education about the how to exhibit and how to some good practices for the exhibitors will be helpful. Okay. Today I'm with Kenneth. Kenneth, just give you some background about Kenneth. Kenneth Foam is also you can call it veteran Kenneth now. So many years in the yeah. Still early. Okay. He joined the business events industry in 2003 and is currently the sales director for the MSA worldwide based in Malaysia. During his time at the company, he grew the Malaysian participation in various international exhibitions around the world. He is also responsible to grow the local presence in events and exhibitions since 2007. Since 2014, he volunteered his time in MASIOS, is it correct way? Is a Malaysian Association of Convention and Exhibition Organizers and Suppliers to develop the national education programs for the business event industry. Engaged with Higher Learning Institute for Talent Development and was a chair for the Business Event Forum in 2019. He is also the currently honorary secretary for this association. So Kenneth, welcome to this trade exhibition conversation. We would like to have a conversation on the what are the good practices that exhibitors should follow to be successful, okay, in the trade exhibitions. I think you have seen lots of shows. You brought delegations, involved with consulting and educating. You say education. When you say an education, that is for me is very, very important for the exhibitors. Okay, and also not only just exhibitors, everybody involved, all the stakeholders in the exhibition industry. I think what you are doing is a very noble thing at the association, involving in the talent development and educating the stakeholders. Yeah. So thank you very much for accepting my invitation, first of all. Yeah. So,
thank you, Peram. I think what is interesting is over the years, it has been very interesting though. I've also seen a lot of changes over the years of how people actually showcase their products, how actually people change the mode of marketing within the exhibition as well. But I think more importantly, right, I think over the years, what I've seen very common in any exhibitor, right, and I think I shared in some of my sharings as well before with the iRise guys, where exhibition requires energy or events requires energy, either way, So but at the end of the day, it's all about energy. So the higher the energy you have, somehow people are attracted to your booth, right? Of course, at the end of the day, later we go down a list about how you design your booth and what your USPs are and how you actually make it more interesting for your booth. But if you have events in your booth, right, it's fantastic. If you have people who are energetic in your booth, especially your salesperson, I mean the frontliners, right? If they are also energetic, everybody somehow comes to your booth. If you have free stuff, even better. More people come to your booth, But of course, at the end of the day, you have your budget to play with.
Yeah.
So I think what is interesting is, there's a few points here. What I think we discussed earlier a bit also, Karam, where display of products is very important. Right?
Yeah, well, let's get into the, we go with various points. Okay, the first one is, which is one of the primary thing, is how you display your products, in the booth. So that makes, product is a, your product, your service is the focal point of the participation. Okay, and so in your experience, as you know, most of the in exhibitions, you have a large size booths and many, we call shell scheme, whether it is 9 square meter booths or 18 square meter booths. Large scale booths, they usually hire the consultant or the contractor to display. They give you the complete picture, but the small size, we don't call small size, but they use a shell scheme based on the budget. It's like aeroplane, like somebody have a business class seat, somebody has economy or first class, whatever it is, but the destination is the same for everyone. Okay, when you participate in the exhibition, but you need to utilize your resources efficiently to reach the goal what you're looking for. One is that the display. So in our experience, let's talk about the shell scheme, okay, or mid-sized booths. Okay, what is the best ways that we can display? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what I've seen so far is the best. Let's see now. So a lot of my clients are within the automotive industry, right? And a lot of them like to use these display showcase, either the tall ones or even the smaller ones. I mean, the tall display showcase or even the shorter ones, yeah. 1 meter high or the 2.5 meter ones. In fact, if you have the 2.5 meter ones, I think it's much better. You can actually display your products inside there. Make sure it's brightly lit as well. So because people like to see things that are brightly lit, right? Which means there's enough lighting as well. But best would be to actually not bring too many products to showcase, because unless of course you're giving away samples, yeah, but that's a different topic altogether. But when you showcase a product, it should be simple, straightforward. You have one of each, or maybe one of a different type. In other words, you don't have to showcase. Say for example, we have. So I'm not sure who our participants today is, but say for example, you have rubber gloves, right? So all latex gloves more or less are similar. Of course, the quality eventually is very different, but the use cases can be different. So in my opinion, I think the best would be to showcase the different use cases of the different gloves, rather than putting everything in one corner, because it's just, I mean, in my opinion, it looks like a very simple. It's not professional. Let's put it this way. Just a case in point. It may be relevant, may be not relevant as well. So we have a lot of. So I've been told, and I've seen as well personally on my own. So if you have been to a furniture exhibition, so all the furniture exhibitions normally have one, say for example, a minimum size is 20 square meters, and all around you is all just furniture. Maybe different make, different type, and those kind of things. But it looks very, it doesn't look very fantastically designed, so to speak, or even the display is not so nice. But then imagine if you go next door, right, and sorry, maybe a few doors away, and you have this Swiss guy. What he does is with his booth, about a big booth, right? What he does was he actually makes sure he lacquers it, the whole thing, so everything is very bling bling, and he just puts one sofa in the middle there, right? So imagine how much you can sell that sofa for. It's presentation eventually. I'm not saying that the presentation for the other guy is not very good, but it is a presentation where it gives you the extra value of it. So it depends on what kind of market value, or what kind of value do you want to sell with. What kind of margins are you planning to sell for? Right. So I'm not saying in not so many better words, right? What I understand was, so Malaysia, we are very famous for a lock, stock, barrel kind of furniture style. Maybe you pay $100 to $200 to get one lock, stock, barrel kind of furniture, right? But if you go to the Philippines, they sell a chair, just one chair, designer chair, for $100. So I mean, that I'm just giving a comparison, but display of products is very important. It has to be very nicely, in my opinion, brightly lit. There's no right, no wrong. You have to always experiment. Of course, at the end of the day, I know that at the end, the guys who are going to man the booth, the boss will say, no, it's not enough, kind of thing. So, but you have to justify it somehow.
I think the display of the products, my understanding, my experience, I see is that first of all, it's visible from the distance, okay, and of course, as you rightly mentioned about proper lighting, okay. I think the best if you have a product with samples, various things you can display, you better to use the showcase. You have a different sizes, the contractor can give you. You can pre-order, you can save the money. Okay, but that is one. And the second is that you can make sure that you place it in the right location so that it is accessible to everybody, not one person to just blocking it and see it. So it's make sure that from the circle way, people can come and have a look, because all are the glass showcase anyway, people can see clearly, So I think that is a very useful, tool in the display. Yeah. And also you can also build the shelves at the back of your booth, okay, and
Yes.
where people can. It's important that the access, people can enter. There's like a pathway. Okay, they can go see one next. It depends on the size of the booth. Even the small booths, you can just you can play in such a, you can decorate in such a way. You can locate or display the products. People, one by one, people can see it. And as you rightly mentioned about this, some samples or maybe some products are very generic, but you always want to highlight something unique or innovative, or that is like special piece on a special lighting or some glittering things that you do, that's really, this is one of my new innovation, things like that. So I think that you always have to uh, project it, because if you are like you have like product like all other people, there is nothing special. So
Yeah,
every booth that you should think about something highlight, okay, the
yes,
star
yes.
of the booth or product, that product is there, and then you highlight it, and you can put some kind of display. This is our new innovation. If you have some award for it, you make sure you
Yeah,
place it. That's
yeah.
people identify that you are innovator, you are a developer, product developer, and you are the right person to reach out to, develop our own products and things like that. That's what we've seen in many shows across the world. And yeah, so yeah.
Just to add on as well, right? So just to throw a bit of spanner inside here. So we talk about product display. So what is interesting, I've seen some companies as well. All right, what they do is they don't even display their products. Right, they just go there. I mean, of course, they display their products. Right? It is something new and those kind of things, right? But that is not their main focus. The main focus is to welcome all their buyers, all their friends, to have a good time at their booth. So in one of the shows that we also organize, right, in Shanghai, what these guys do is they actually have a sort of a bar within their booth. So just welcome their friends and family and those kind of things, and of course buyers just come sit down and have a good time.
Yeah, that is social. That is the purpose of their exhibiting is more of social nature, and they get to know, because they're already established well. They don't need really marketing. It's more of a kind of place for them to come and all meet together. There is one issue. Suppose some people don't have the products, okay, to display, or it's difficult to carry. Definitely it happens. Some machinery, or if you have something that difficult to because of the travel restrictions or whatever logistic restrictions, you can always rent a TV. Okay, nowadays you can TV, and make sure you record your product in such a way interesting for the audience to see it, and put it in
Yeah,
front of the booth. A lot of times people put it in the back, okay, but you put in one side. See, attention is very important. Visibility is very important. The TV, yeah, I think nowadays I suggest guys in my exhibitions that go and buy it, okay, and because renting sometime almost it's a similar price structure of the renting, but if you're overseas visitors, okay, then it's better to rent. If you're local visitors, you can bring your own TV to the and if you have a stand, proper stand. If you don't have proper stand, better to use the contractor service. They will be responsible for installing it, and they'll be taking it away. You don't need to worry about packing, unpacking and things, but it's up to you how you want to deal with it. But the TV makes a difference also. Yeah, so you agree on that, Kevin? Yeah.
Yeah, sure, of course, definitely.
Yeah,
So, but nowadays,
yeah,
display of products can be very different.
mm,
So I remember the days, right, when there's this printing exhibition, So printing exhibition, there's this big company called Heidelberg. So they used to take two halls in like Busudorf. But nowadays, it just maybe take a smaller booth. What they do is everything's by VR, VR or AR,
yeah,
This is where the goggles, you can go into their machine and those kind of things and see, this is what really goes behind the printing machine. So that's what nowadays that takes place.
yeah. Well, that's a basic things, whether if you have a difficulty to bring things, okay, and so there you have solutions. You have a digital solutions, or physically you can display it,
Yeah.
So yeah, so I want to touch upon issues about the visitors, how to engage with visitors. Okay, it's easy to say hello to people that hey Kenneth, how are you doing? You smile, and the moment you see the person, you say hello with a natural smile. But if you don't know the person, okay, you don't know, maybe that guy also have a little hesitancy that whether I should talk to the person or not. So how you welcome, how to welcome them to your group is also, it's a lot to do with the personality of the person standing in front of the booth to welcome also. Okay, so how is your experience? How to welcome the people that you don't know, you never met, or maybe they look not friendly, but they still can do the business. Okay, so what's your experience, Kenneth?
Wow, this is interesting. That's an easy way out, lah. But the not so easy way out is actually, let's see now. So I think the individual who's actually in the front of the booth, he has to, what's the right word? I think psyche his mind also that he has to be very friendly. Or if the best would be to get someone really friendly in front, so that he or she is able to, of course, a big smile helps. And the person
Yes,
smiles back, then for sure, then you know that okay, this guy is okay as well. But if the guy doesn't smile, never mind, it's okay. Don't worry, it's nothing wrong with you. Maybe something wrong with him instead, right, or her. But most of the time, people smile back. So if people smile back, then maybe you can just ask, you say, hey, hi, how are you, and those kind of things. How can I help you, and those kind of things, and so on and so forth. Most of the time, it's just that first conversation. And especially if, say, for example, the visitor looks at your booth a bit longer, then you know more or less, okay, this guy may be interested in your products. But it's always that first, what's the right word to use? That first to break the ice, basically, in short.
yeah,
So I always like to give this example of a boyfriend and girlfriend, a boy and girl, right? Wants to go dating, but they do not know each other. Right? It's very similar to like business. So if I do not know Param over iRise, he calls me, I would say, hey, Kenneth, do you want to do this talk show kind of thing? Say, well, I have to do a bit of what's the right word to use? A check, a screen check first to see who this Param guy is. But
yes,
if due to iRise, so because I got to know Param, I say, okay, fine, let's just do something together. And then here we are today. So it's very similar as well on how you all do businesses. It's the same thing as how do a boy would meet a girl or girl meet a boy over dinner or whatever it is eventually moving forward. And that's
yeah,
how it is. So what's the right word to use? I think business relations are like building relationships over the years. So it's
yeah,
very simple and very straightforward. That's the not so difficult. That's the difficult part. The easier part would be to get maybe a very nice looking lady in front of the booth, and yeah, everybody normally comes to see your booth, but depends on what you're showcasing. So
yeah.
if
It's
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 like
a, it's very important to being the pleasant person in front of the booth. I think the exhibitors team should choose one specific as a girl. It does not matter boy or a girl. And nowadays everybody do everything anyway. But of course
yeah,
the lady makes a difference. Okay, and but the pleasant personality and cheerful personality is one can brings encourage the people to come inside.
that's
Um,
right.
of course we have I think I just see some in my question that hey, now we have to wear the mask, so how can they see our smile? Well, it is
Depends.
true. You can always say, your eyes tells you, if you smile, your eyes tells you that you're smiling as well. Okay, first. Second is that you can always wave hello, and so well, we should not worry about the physical issues, other issues, but there's always a way to, yeah, and inviting the people. One thing I
Yes.
don't encourage the exhibitors is that when you start conversation, don't straight go to the product. Okay, we are selling this, we are selling that, and thing. First, have a basic conversation like, hello, how are you doing? Or you're from here, or if you're a foreigner or you're local, if you look at the person shirt, where he's come from. Hey, is Mr. Somcha is here, and I know him. So a kind of friendly conversation. A lot of times, hey, I'm producing this, I'm producing that. That's people back off, and it's I think that's you had to find it has to be spontaneous way. There is no a kind of structure of the structural program. You look at the person, okay, probably young and old, the way you speak, it has to change. There's no one structure to inviting the people, but a person, pleasant personality, cheerful nature is the right one to be stand in front of the booth.
Correctly said. So what is interesting is I need to borrow this from the customer service people. So if you call up, especially airlines, I'm sorry, any industry, right? Any industry, if you call up the customer service, right? One of the trainings I heard what they do is you have to smile before you talk, right? And because you smile before you talk and you sound like full of energy and very cheerful, those kind of things, right? Then you know that the person on the other line is also very so-called cheerful as well. Then they will understand, okay, if I know this guy is trying to do something for me as well. And that's how it is. It's something like smiling through the eyes, but although you wear a mask. But we are in Asia, so it's very different. But if you go overseas, right, exhibitions, they don't bother. Nowadays, people don't wear masks anyway in the exhibitions in Europe.
Okay. So we touched a little bit about how to break the ice with people that you don't know. Okay, and you can always offer a free coffee or or drink to them. And if you think that the potential, ask them to sit inside the booth, and one thing you need to understand that you have whether the show is a 2 days or 3 days, the time is limited. Okay, the conversation has to be in such a way that you utilize your time into the maximum. Right? Say sometimes some guys can sit for an hour. Okay, you don't know how to get them out. I see in my shows. Sometimes because they know relationships, but you may miss other potential or other usually what happens is in the exhibitors when visitors are passing by, oh, Mr. Lowe is busy with the client, I'll come back. He may not come back. This is what happens. Okay, and so you try to be it depends on how much crowd in the show, but if you have a pre meeting is fine. Okay, that is you have structured the meeting. But if somebody is passing by, want to say hello, you have to find a way to be nicely say to excuse your current one meeting and quickly say hello to other guy, because there's otherwise you may not come back. You think I'll come back. Definitely people say I'll come back. I'll see you later. Okay, that is see you later is a see you later.
Yeah, really see you later. That's right.
Yeah. So, but you always want to have a quick, say hello. At least if he's busy, okay, I'll talk to you later and exchange if you have any exchange the cards. So try to be. That's why energy makes, you have to have energy, quickly move, quickly smile, remember, recognize the person, you have to recognize the person quickly. Who is he? Sometimes too much light, too much noise, so many crowded, and you need to identify the person that you know. So yes, I think that's where you rightly mentioned about energy. The energy not in the morning only, to the end.
The whole day. Yeah, the whole day. Yeah.
Right,
so what I like to do is, one of my clients, right, he has a bigger booth. He takes about 18 square meters, but he does it on purpose. All right. His products are very small. I'm not sure how he makes it. But his margins I think are higher. But now I think everything is affected. But anyway, what he does is in his booth, he has 2 tables in particular, 2 discussion tables because it's an 18 square meter booth, so you have enough space. So what they do is, so on one table, he'll be entertaining his friends who come over and those kind of things and sit for a long time, say, for example, right? I could be one of them, all right? But whenever there's a new person that comes over, right, they'll say, excuse me for a short while, let me entertain my new client to see how we can actually work things first. And we all understand as well, because business first, yeah, especially during exhibition.
some visitors, they don't have a place to sit, because they make travel from the long distance, and because you're a buddy or for a good customer for them, sometimes they stay longer. You have to entertain both, but you have to manage it. There is no fix. Yeah, you cannot just say you're a good buddy friend, you let them go. No, you cannot do that. Okay, at the same time, you also want to meet so many people, in that, because time is short. Because that's under one roof, you try to meet so many people in the shortest time, and that's why you need to have a good energy.
That's right.
Yeah. Let's talk a little into the literature. Literature, brochures. I think this is one of the key way of disseminating the company information to the target audience. See, the moment any visitor come to that show, it means 80% or some 20% you can say that they are not relevant, but to 80% of the visitors are relevant to your business. Okay, and so you need to prepare a proper brochure. So my way of looking, a lot of times exhibitors spend a lot of money on preparing the thick brochures, like and carry it, and to the show. And when they take it back, they're like, oh, it's too much to take it back, and they try to throw onto the visitors. Okay, throw them, say, please, take the brochure to the every passerby. And that guy he may say no, he may say yes, take it for the sake of not offending the exhibitor. And what happens after he passed another 15 meters, every exhibition center, when you have a dustbin, and they throw in the dustbin, or they may carry to the end. And what happens at the airport, because they check the weight, and okay, they'll throw all that brochures they collected in. So it's a waste for the exhibitors themselves. Okay, and so I always suggest make two types of brochures. Simple flyer, one page, okay, which gives you everything about the company, and there you can that's not too heavy, one page. If the customer is relevant and also the useful, or maybe they really want it, okay, you can give the print bigger brochure. But nowadays you can always send PDF file, prepare the electronic version. So don't spend too much on the throwing brochures onto the that's my observation, my shows, because sometimes they bring on the product line, they print it, and so heavy to carry, and they don't review it. They don't review it. Yeah. So what's your intake in that? Yeah. So.
Well, very similar to your take as well, Karam. A lot of companies. So we do a lot of we call it exhibitor briefings. All right. A lot of people ask us. They say, "Hey, Kenneth, how many brochures should we bring to an exhibition?" So then we told them, we said, look, I think if you bring 100 brochures, a simple brochure, right, it's more than sufficient. But it's so little. See, yeah, because you only give the brochures to the really interested ones, the ones who already go inside the booth, right? And then you give out the brochure, then you know that he or she is more or less interested in your product. Because if you give the guy who just walks by and just dump it with him, right? More often than not, you see the brochure within the dustbin. And that's what I do as well. If people throw it to me, I don't need it. I just throw it inside the rubbish bin, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not so much how many. I mean, of course, at the end of the day, we want the brochure to go out. Yeah, we want the company. We want being practical as well. We want to know. We want as much people to know what we do, what our company does, which is fair. And in all honesty, I don't blame you as well. I also don't blame the exhibition guy who is actually going for the exhibition, but who has also report to the boss. But I think in this day and age, especially after COVID, I think if you give brochures to those really interested ones, I think that really makes sense, because I think at the end of the day, we're talking about how sustainable should we be. If we talk about trees and those kind of things, okay, fine. But how do we not say eliminate the trees, but how do we automate the whole process? I think in one of my sharings as well, we're an exhibition company, so data is important for us, yeah. And we always keep this data centralized within a software or whatever it is that we eventually use. right? So, but for us, what we do is we keep everything within a centralized location, all right? And if you scan this, then we'll send you a data. But sorry, if you scan this, we'll keep your data. Then we'll of course send you the brochure or relevant brochure that you require. All right, same thing like what I think for any exhibitor that is. How do you keep your data eventually? I know we're talking about this literatures and those kind of things, but in my opinion, I think it's best to keep everything within a central database so that, you know, at the end of the day, it's easy to send people products. Sorry, it's easier to send a companies e-brochure if he or she is really interested in your product. Right? What one of my friends told me, I say, Kenneth, you know, I admire the Chinese exhibitors. I say, why? Don't know where they get our data from, right? Every month, you know, every other day you see an email from this guy. Say, hi, dear so and so and so, we do this product and those kind of things. Are you interested to buy? Right? It's the same guy, maybe over 2-3 months. Yeah, it's considered spam eventually. Yeah, but the way they actually market their company, and that's how it is. Right? So this friend of mine say, if only my guys here in Malaysia can do something like that in China, right? Wow, fantastic! I don't have to worry so much. So it's the need for eventually, not on top of the literature, but I think it's the consistent need for marketing that people remember you. Because if it's like out of sight, out of mind kind of thing, right, then people rarely contact you eventually anyway. Of course, eventually, if you're a big boy and those kind of things, and then people definitely remember you. You know? So, but then again, for the smaller guys, so it's a consistent branding, a consistent marketing that is very important. So your literature is just one stop. But how do you get people to really know you better? You know, and that's what, yeah, I think that will lead to the next few topics, though, Farrell.
Yeah. But no, when talk about literature, just wanted to add here, you know, okay, printing is one thing, but e-brochures or PDF files,
Yes.
you know, even you say that, you know, you can always update your files. Hey, this is our new product or new brochures or new lineup and things. So you can keep on updating. So you guys have to work on the creating multiple PDFs on specific on the products. It does not cost you. It says whenever anybody interested, you can share it. You know, whether it is a WhatsApp or some, so keep your PDF files ready. Okay, and depends on the one is general, one on the product basis or in a service basis, whatever it is, you can break it down into not put everything, because again that guy may be interested in some specific machine. You can make one page of PDF and and talk about and share it, or one product line. So prepare your PDF files as you can break it down into one big brochure. You break it down to subsections of an individual product line. Really helpful. Okay, and of course giving the brochures, it's a printed version is definitely helpful, but don't need to spend too much on it. You make it a simplified one, but of course you like to take a pictures. Of course, a nice brochure is also helpful. So you print a good one must brochure and that, and exchanging some cooperation and whatever it is, and so yeah. Well, I mean that's what we should do nowadays, because everything people can design by themselves all their brochures nowadays, and you can use even the PowerPoint, even the Word, Microsoft Office give you plenty of tools, so you can do self-design.
In fact, if you spend so in terms of brochures as well and design, so if you spend a bit as well, right, you can actually get people to design your brochure for very, very cheaply as well. I'm not saying that you should. I mean, there are companies like Fiverr.com, or even say for example the local outsourcing guys, right? You pay a few ringgit, well, not a few ringgit, but a few US dollars. They will beautifully design your brochure, or even say for example your company corporate image. All right, we just need to tell them and say, look, this is what I do. All right, say for us, so for Param and I, so we are in the exhibition business, right? So we just need to give the designer or the consultant, say we are in the exhibition business, this is what we do, please design our CI for us. They pay maybe 100 or 200 US dollars for sure. Of course, do not expect a professional to do it, because these guys are freelancers.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think nowadays, it's always better to outsource something that you are not really good at it. That don't try to learn, I can do it myself and start over, and 1 month before the exhibition you start to learn how to design the poster. But I think it's a better, what you mentioned is correct, that you should take help of the, nowadays there are a lot of freelance designers available, okay, and that's also not so expensive like in the past. Now it is very, because the tools are available. You should take it. You just need to tell them the theme, okay, prepare all the pictures and the text, what is to be there, and they know, graphic designers nowadays, not just the graphic designers, they are also the marketeers, branding, the way, what colors, what else to highlight. You may not have an experience, an exhibitor, if you're a small company, or but big companies, they have the team anyway, they know how to run that thing's whole thing, they have marketing, communication team, and there are full setup. But small companies, you can always take help of the freelance, which are not so expensive. They can do very fast also, and very professional, and you don't need to tension about, oh, I choose a wrong text, wrong font, and don't cry later on, I should have done it that one before, because it's too late, because you better to use the, I think every organizer provides some kind of list of the available freelancers or the graphic designers. They always give the a best kind of price structure for you, because so you take the help of them. Yeah, so yeah, good. Okay, let's go into this social media. See, nowadays, I know, yeah, this is a long topic, but we try to be a quicker way. Everybody got a weapon, a tool, gadget in their own hand. Okay, and and everybody got, I think if somebody don't look at a WhatsApp message or Facebook message, they are in the different generation. Okay, so it's there is a LinkedIn, whether it is Facebook or Instagram, or you name it now. TikToks also, there are many other formats. Twitter, and so these are, everybody can be the become the marketeer of the company.
Yeah.
Who is ever at the whoever is at the participating in the exhibition. Okay, so what is your suggestions? How to utilize the social media to promote the company? Yeah. So,
wow, this is a very interesting topic actually, and rightfully said, it's actually a topic on its own. Right? Yeah. So far, I can only comment for the social media that we use. There's a Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and of course, there's one more, LinkedIn, right? But depends very much on your objective of why are you using the social media for. Right, for us in marketing, we got no choice anyway. So we want to get the word out, those kind of things. The more people get to know them, the more people hopefully will come for whatever event that you are planning to do for anyway. But as organizers, right? So from my point of view, so far, you have to have one person dedicated to do social media. I mean, you can do it on your own. I did it on my own before, and it's a whole lot of work, honestly speaking. Yeah. You have to so what we do is from my office, right? So we talk about, say, for example, and sorry, I got some cars behind me. So from our side, right? So we talk about, say, for example, the exhibition in this case, right? It's let me say there's a lot of work, because we actually have to create or curate a story, right? So what I tell within my team, so I have a few team members with me, and what I normally do with them is, okay, look, I want you all to plan something over the next maybe 10, 12, maybe 15 postings, right? Pre-plan all these postings. Then after that, okay, fine, this is what we want to say. And this is what I feel what the exhibition could bring you as well. All right. And a lot of times where you have to be very flexible as well at the same time. Where although today is going to be that, but it can change as well slightly, because the market changes as well. All right. But more importantly is, if you are into social media, then you have to be in social media, right? It's not what's that? I want to touch it a bit, then don't touch, don't touch kind of thing. It doesn't work that way. But if you're in social media, you have to be in social media, and you have to do it very consistently. It's like what I mentioned earlier about consistent marketing. So this brings into I think the whole marketing of the company, how you actually use the various social medias, right, or the various marketing programs that you have. So it can be a mixture of, say, for example, social media plus email marketing plus, of course, eventually the traditional marketing, which is, of course, definitely the trade fairs and exhibitions, or even going for meetings or even conferences. That's another one, very traditional one. And of course, eventually moving forward, you're talking about webinars, right?
Yeah.
If you have consistent marketing programs, right, then it will help you become a bit more successful compared to your peers, right? But you have to have a decent team, and this, I would say, the social media manager, right, or the guy supervising it, right, have to let the younger generation to sort it out, because it's their world, right? Even I don't understand how you do TikTok, you know? So, but that's another topic again on its own.
Yeah,
So
you know, when come to the social media, okay, so I think nowadays everybody has a little understanding, you know, Facebook or the LinkedIn, and but it's, you rightly mentioned about one dedicated person, to look after it is very helpful. Okay, at the same time, you also have to take everybody's role. Suppose just in exhibition, suppose you have one VIP visitor come to your booth, make sure you take a picture with that, your
oh yes,
boss, or and post it in our, hey, we have visitor, Mr. Toe has come to visit our booth. Yet, we are here. If you're passing by, please come, and so you are giving actually your own promotion. The moment you see, that is one thing. Whether you do it in a LinkedIn posting, or whether it is a Facebook or Twitter, wherever it is, you make in this occasion participation. You are at the show. There are some key people are coming. If they are there at your booth, and you make sure you take the picture with your whoever is in the group of exhibitors, the staff there, and make sure one thing, the background, you have a logo of your company,
oh
or
yes,
the
yes.
fascia board. Don't take a random picture. Make sure that you, in your booth, you should have a location that is dedicated. We call what is called the photo
The photo wall.
photo backdrop or something typed up. It is suppose, sir, let's take a picture here. Okay, and then it means you are also branding your company. If one guy, your staff take a picture, he posts in his own LinkedIn or Facebook, somebody likes it, it spreads. You are actually, you use this occasion to brand, you promote your company. That is very, very important. And of course, if you have one person that looks after this, taking a picture, posting is very, very helpful. And you can also take a short videos. Okay, during and today's day one. Okay, all the pictures together, all the clips together, and day one is successful. Day one, we had a great meetings, and again, you mentioned rightly, story is important. The story behind it. Okay, if you are not a storyteller, the message will not pass. Okay, but don't bombard with so many. You've taken it, the right picture, right people. And if you have a group of visitors come from the same company to visit, okay, make sure you have a group picture as well. It shows that it does not matter your booth is a big or small. It shows that, wow, hey, so many people visited my booth. Okay, and also take a picture when it's crowded. Okay, just like a restaurant, right? The way you choose a restaurant, and oh, lots of people are eating there. Hey, what's going on there? So it is attention. Okay, so please take those special moments. And I know somebody has to look at it, and your staff, the exhibitor staff, had common understanding, not that this is my job only. Maybe I'm talking to important customer, but at the same time, you can take from the distance and take a picture. Okay, not disturbing mind. So there are a lot of common sense, spontaneous ways that you utilize these pictures as a marketing for you during the show. Also, after the show, you can always tell the story. Yeah, my participation at this exhibition is great. We have met so many people. We made so much business, or whatever it is you want to say. But we have a great story to tell. I know it is energy. Again, we go back to energy. You've got to have some energetic guy. Click, click the pictures. That's. I mean, that's. I always see. You can be we may not be you may not be the master of the social media, but you can be, you can use the basics,
Very
to,
influential. Yeah, that's right. Hang on.
yeah. So yeah, that's why that's what a way of social media. And very, very important is the backdrop or company name. I think every exhibition, whether if your custom booth, you have a nice location, with the big logo, or some place is there. And if you have small booths, make sure you put one partition or one panel just for the logo. Okay.
Yeah,
And your meeting table, it's such a way, the location, in such a way, the backdrop, just you see my backdrop, technobase people see my backdrop. Okay, so this is very important, that the logo. And this is not for today in exhibitions, what the day you join, it lasts forever. Okay, so make sure that you spend the time on the quality printing is very important. Don't be lousy, quality printing. And that's my experience with the this social media. You can talk about the branding. You can mix together. It's a branding. It's and it can be in the social media. Whether you publish. And organizers, work with organizers. Okay, organizers, they help you also to market. Okay, if you have some special occasion, let's say you have some a special cooperation with certain company, share this information to the organizer. They will pass on, they will pass on through their social media, or they pass on their media partners. You get mileage. Okay, so you have to be spontaneous. I don't know which one is going to be, but suppose somebody, you shake hands, there will be a distributor, new distributor for your product. Okay, take a picture of it, and we have a signed agreement with this distributor in this country, or this, so like that. And the story has to be short. Okay, nobody reads the long stories. Okay, so keep it short and 2-3 lines, and always smile in the picture. Okay, or if possible, thumbs up or shake hands. I think that's, of course, if you're not, if somebody take a picture while from the distance, that's okay. But if you're prepared for the picture, nice smile helps, shake hands helps. Okay, if you're buddy, you can shoulder on shoulder, head on shoulder, so whichever the way, and show that there is a strength in the, your partnership, and there is a solid relationship with that particular company.
Especially
anything that you want to add?
Yeah. So I think you mentioned something about organizers as well, and exhibitors, right? So it's also very important where exhibitors, like you mentioned just now as well, talk to the organizers, or even say, for example, the associations, right? Or even stakeholders, because we talk about a lot about stakeholders today, and we touched on it very, very, very briefly. Say, for example, you have something new, or something new product, or even say, for example, a new something different. Let's put it this way, right? So it's actually the best way to actually use the not use the organizer, but use the exhibition as sort of like a mouthpiece, right? So my colleagues and I, we always believe that the exhibition is just a platform, right? We are all a platform, right? technobase is a platform. Even this go-to webinar is also a platform as well. So the question is, what kind of topics do we want to bring out, right? Or in this case, I like to say, for the lack of a better word, right? So exhibitions are like the tool where you can actually make use of to actually showcase maybe your version of what you feel is right. In other words, your version of propaganda, right? For the lack of a better word. So why should we buy, say, for example, sorry. So nowadays, I think the in word today is the EVs, electric vehicles. So, but how do we promote electric vehicles in a better way? Or would it affect eventually the ICE, I mean the internal combustion engine people? Right? Of course, at the end of the day, I mean, there's another topic altogether. It's a big topic again on its own on electric vehicles, but it is a perfect platform to start the conversation going where people will understand. Right? If the EV comes into the picture, would it affect the rubber business eventually moving forward? All right. If it affects the rubber business or the dry rubber guys in a positive way, how does it affect Keep Property? How can the dry rubber people or the manufacturers themselves how can they, what's the right word to use? Not say modify, but pivot their businesses. I know the word is being used quite often, but how do they pivot their business to actually adapt to the moving times of what EV may bring? Or even say, for example, like rubber gloves as well. So we know that rubber gloves, there are many use cases. And for all you know, maybe you need to have a decent rubber glove. Right? I know there's a rubber glove made for holding electricity and those kind of things, right? So you have to have a decent rubber glove to maybe repair the car. Or if the EV gets into an accident, how do we need to use a proper rubber glove or not? Or can we use our hands just to touch a car? Right? So, but this is all about how to get the conversations going. And for organizers and for exhibitors as well. So if you have, say, for example, a very interesting topic for the organizers to consider, I think it's the perfect time to actually get the word out now, right? Because everything sells. No, not everything sells. You can sell everything. The question is whether you want to sell it or not.
Yeah. See, when it comes to I totally agree with you. When you participation in the exhibition should not be just only for that, short-term thinking. You have to think in the long term. There are some benefits you get in short term. There's some benefits in the long term. Branding makes a difference. Okay, so you keep on utilizing all the social media to brand your company. And one thing I also suggest about when you talk about the branding, of course, it depends on the companies. A lot of big companies usually they wear a single uniform, whether it's same T-shirt. Okay, it's a really perfect way. You may spend little money. Nowadays you don't need to produce so many T-shirts but you can have a nice designed T-shirt with company logo, and wherever you go, you're not at the booth. You're going to the restaurant or in the coffee shop. Oh, this is a company. Oh, this is okay, these guys to do. I saw their booth there. It's kind of, you have to make them in their mind. Oh, who are they? And not only the people exhibiting staff, but also if your factory people come to visit the show, make sure they come wear the uniform. They are the brand ambassador. They're kind of walking around all the show. See, you want your company name to be seen everywhere, but you cannot give a T-shirt to whole factory. That is let's say there are 1,000 people or 500 people. That's too much, but they still have uniform to wear. And it's always, you encourage them to come to the show because they learn about what is going on in the market, and also they can see the other similar products and what kind of innovativeness is there. There's a learning. It's not seen. Exhibition is not just only try to sell. You learn. You make it, gives you a platform for future projects. You think about, hey, what else can pause, what are the market developments are there, how when you talk to the customers, don't talk about, yeah, you bought only 10 tons last month, what happened. No, what is your plans, what are your future plans, how you can integrate, what direction they are thinking now. So you have to have a proper conversation, not just only think about last month, only trying to reach out to the purchasing manager only. You need to reach out to every level of people, okay? Every level of people, technical, non-technical, and see how your customer vision for the future. And then it automatically changes your direction also. Okay, they are looking for a new material, or they're looking for new machine, or or what their expansion plans. So have a conversation, not just only about my product. Okay, learn about them. Spend the time to learn about, and that way you see that you want it involved in the long term. Okay, I think that's one I see as one of the good practices to be to do.
Agree, yeah. Interesting.
There's one thing with information counter. Okay, and we talk about information counter. Every booth have to have one counter. Okay, it's very important. That is like a entry gate to your booth. Okay, just like you have staff in front of the staff booth, that is one thing. There is where you put your literature, your business cards, and or even if you have a small samples, you can showcase. So make sure it is rightly put together. And if it's possible, you can take the higher information counter, taller one, so that people can see from the distance what is. Otherwise, if it's a smaller sizes, maybe it's kind of two people stand next to each other, that's already covered. Okay, so you have to make sure that and the person who is sitting at information counter, very important. Okay,
Yes.
the person who has to, you may call it a secretary, or you may call it he's a person tell you, okay, you're here to meet Mr. something. Okay, he's not here. Okay, let's make a note. Okay, and so that person had to have a spontaneous way, take the input from all the visitors, make the notes about it, and if he's around if they connect to the right person immediately, it's good. If not, hey, yeah, he visited, you are not here, so he'll call you back, and some kind of messages to be. So please take the person at the information counter that has a overview, or may not know the complete details, but at least have the broader view of the company. That makes a lot of difference. Don't try to take some. Of course, it depends on the exhibitor. Some exhibitors, because they don't have the local staff, they had to hire the temporary staff. But when you do take the temporary staff, make sure that you tell them the broader picture of the company. Okay,
They have to know.
They do know, and give them some. A lot of times they don't spend the time. Okay, you have to work with your temporary staff. Organizer provide some, translators or product promoter. You name it. All can spend the time with these people to explain your company. Okay, you may not give within half an hour everything about the company, but at least a big picture. If you don't know, you can always find, I'll come back to you, I'll get back to you, or some way to, and again, that person must be pleasant again. So yeah. So what do you think about this practice in information counter?
Yeah, well, I'm a big, I'm on the EFI side. So, I mean, if you can have it if you want to, if you don't have it, also is possible as well. I'm on the part where as long as it gets the job done, right? Because I think the info counter actually helps. So it depends very much on how big the booth is.
Yeah.
If you have a display cabinet already, and then plus the info counter plus the discussion paper, right?
The space is covered already.
Yeah, everything is covered up, so you won't be able to see anybody inside anyway. But moving forward, I think what you mentioned rightly is if you have a tall display, not say tall info counter, they call it a bar counter kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's tall enough where when the person sits, right, you're actually eye to eye level. So the idea is to have eye to eye level rather than you look up or he look down. So it's better to always speak to someone at eye level. That's the first.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Then I think what you mentioned about the temp staff coming in as well to man the booth, right? What normally we recommend is if you can, then every day, right, before you start the exhibition and after you end the exhibition, we do sort of like a briefing. It means you start the day, let's say now you start the day, okay, what do we expect? Who are we expecting today? You say assuming so. And at the end of the day, then we do a debrief kind of thing. So it's everyday kind of thing as well, so that people will understand, or at least the temp staff will understand, hey, this is what's happening. So treat them as a friend, or obviously a staff, but treat them as a friend, and then everybody will get things done for you.
And don't look for, sometimes they exhibitors, they look for cheaper prices, that it's always take the right person, because he's representing your company. So make sure that you take the right person. Maybe they're expensive, but it's worth it. Okay. And sometimes they look for, I just need somebody just share the brochure and help, not that. I think don't look in that way of looking, but the moment he sit in front of the counter or your booth, he represents your company. Make sure the right person there, and for that, the right person you have to pay. Okay. Nothing is cheaper, So I always tell the exhibitors that choose the right one, even if it is expensive. Okay, whether it's a boy or a girl, and you can get, of course, temporary staff. Sometimes they're just looking for students, but there are a lot of good students. But training them, and you tell your objective clearly. This is my expectations, and pay them well so that they work hard. And they learn too. They also benefit. Yeah, and you treat them well, huh? Make sure they provide lunch to them as well. Okay. Actually, that is very, very important because they represent your company. Don't try to save in small things that which lose, yeah, I'm just a staff. The moment he thinks that I'm just a daily staff, you already lost. Okay. If he thinks that, yeah, today my job is this, I'm proud about what my job is. Of course, you pay right amount, and definitely they will deliver more than you expected. Okay.
Yes,
And,
yes, yes, definitely, yeah.
and they service minded, take the information, because you can't talk to everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult. Okay. And make sure when you talk about water, make sure you have the water bottles in your booth.
You know, around, yeah.
You dehydrate yourself, and in the evening, you get in trouble. Okay, next day you come late. That is another problem. So drinks a lot of water. And one practice I always suggest, of course, you have to wear the suit, but you also have to have a nice shoes. Okay, nice shoes. You have to stand a lot of the times. Okay, you don't sit all the time. You sit only certain meetings only, but most of the time you stand. So make sure that you have a proper shoes, at the same time proper the water. And you mentioned about the briefing. Briefing, of course, it's important to brief with the temporary staff, but most important is if you have your own staff before exhibition start. I think every exhibition they allow you 1 hour before you get inside and make sure everything ready. You must have the in kind of internal meeting. Okay, what was what we had learned. Okay, who takes what job. Okay, and how you replace during the lunch time. Okay, and those. I think you had to have an internal meeting before and at the end. What were the lessons? Okay, what was the things that you learn about it, and exchange information and make notes, because the moment you walk out of the booth, you forgot already. So make sure
That's right.
that is what I always suggest. Even 2 people, 3 people have a proper official meeting. Okay, this is this. You may think that I can talk in my breakfast time, that is there. Okay, but official proper, this is morning meet, evening, at the end of the called post day meeting will really helpful, I think. Yeah, so yeah, any other points on that one?
No, not really, but I think more or less pretty much covered now.
Yeah, I think that's we can talk more. Time is.
I think whenever I think
So can you summarize it, Kenneth? What we so that we can wrap it up this session here.
I think it's a very decent conversation that we had, Param, about exhibitions and how do we actually be successful in them, or at least have a higher chance of being successful. Right? It boils on to the 3 words I shared very much earlier in the beginning, right? Where I shared exhibitions requires energy, or even events requires energy, either way. So we believe, right, highest energy normally wins. So if you see the booth, of course, if you have a bigger booth, then it's a bit better. That means you can curate a bit more at your booth. Then you can see more energy in the booth as well. And people actually come to the booth as well because there are so many things happening. Right or wrong, eventually, that's another topic again altogether. But what you want is to get the word out. Right? Smaller booths, you can also do the same thing as well, very similar, but of course, then the way of doing it will be very different again. Right? I've seen some of my clients, right? They have something very interesting in KL, where they have sort of like those game machines, right? So they have their game machines within the booth, but everybody comes to the booth because they know they can win something, right? Even if it's a small one, right? But you have to be very careful or tactful about, okay, how do you want to proceed with the exhibition? If you have something different, people will normally want to see, hey, what's this? Why is there a game machine within the booth? Or why is this guy giving free, say for example, teddy bears at 1 o'clock every day, and those kind of things that people will line up. Right? Of course, at the end of the day, it depends very much where you are, but at the end of the day, it depends on what your objective is eventually going for an exhibition. You're already paying so much money, right, for the exhibition. You might as well make the best of it. Spend a bit of time planning for it. And at the end of the day, like the 3 words I mentioned, if you forget everything that we say here today, don't worry. So the 3 words: exhibition requires energy.
Yeah. Perfect. You put the right statement. Exhibition requires energy,
Yeah.
and exhibition is the mouthpiece for your company growth. It give you what, whether the show is a big or small. Okay, so you're, as an exhibitor, if you prepare well, participate, every exhibition you participate, it brings you the benefit, short term and long term. So I'm hoping this conversation with Kenneth, exchanging these ideas about what are the practices to be done, audience maybe find it useful, okay, and learn some useful points and make them practiced, in their participation, any of the shows they participate. Kenneth, thank you very much. I really
Thank you.
enjoyed this conversation. Okay, we catch up some other time, other issue again. Okay, yeah.
Sure. All right.
Yes, man. Bye bye. Thank you.
Cheers, Bram. Take care. Okay.